True Sports Network. The Cincinnati Bengals Weekly Show is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Use the promo code TGT20 to get free shipping and 20% off your first order. Today, we have Joe Kelly, who will be on here in a couple minutes. He's a little late getting to the show. And, of course, Ty Robbins, the greatest wrestling coach in the greater Cincinnati, the history of greater Cincinnati wrestling.
Right. Hey, what's up, Bengal Nation? Well, it was a good win on Sunday. Maybe I did something I never have done before, Mike.
What was that?
I bet against the Bengals. And I did it because I thought, wow, here are 4 new linemen. Joe Mixon's out of the race. The Titans come in. They're 5-1. They almost upset Steelers. They got probably one of the best running backs in the game. And then I fell off the bandwagon. And I feel sorry that I did that mistake. So I got to apologize to Bengal Nation because
why would you have to apologize?
That's my team. That's my team. Ride or die.
I did the same thing you did, and I bet on the Bengals. It's the second time this year I bet against the Bengals, and the same thing happened. Both times they won. So I'm thinking about just throwing a $10 bet on every game against them. You talked about the offensive line, and the new offensive line made a difference. And that's why I don't know why people freak out. Well, they had all new linemen. Well, why wouldn't you want all new linemen? Because the line they had did not cut it. And when you look at this, and if you remember, I brought up Hakeem Adeniji earlier about 3 or 4 weeks ago, said they should start him. Shaq Calhoun, Billy Price, Alex Redmond, and Fred Johnson. Quentin Spain came in for Calhoun after one series. So when you look at this, it was Adeniji's first career start. Price and Johnson's first start at their respective positions this year. Spain's third day with the franchise. This went as well as it possibly could have, Ty.
Yeah, I think so. And Energy out of Kansas came out, and I didn't know how well they were going to gel. An offensive line is successful if everybody works together and knows who they're blocking and what the blocking schemes are. And so when you got new guys in. But I felt like everybody had a lot of gave Joe a lot of protection. At one point, I was at the game. So I was at the game. I counted 9 seconds he had. He sat in the pocket for 9 seconds and threw a pass. Just think if he could every play sit back for 9 seconds, how much damage the offensive line could do and offensive, side of the ball could do. Hey, Joe.
Guys, we got Joe Kelly, number 58 from the 1988 AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. Joe, we were just talking a little bit about the offensive line. We had an entirely new offensive line,
yes,
and it worked out a hell of a lot better this week, it seemed.
Well, we've been advocating change, on that offensive line because those guys weren't getting it done. So, it's ironic that you throw some guys in there that nobody is really talking about, backup guys, nobody's scheming toward these guys. And those guys came out and played their ass off. They gave Joe time. They opened holes. And we were going against, a tough defense. So, it was surprising. So I definitely got an E-Crow based on, my predictions last week. Those guys came out and, without Joe Mixon, without that entire line, and they came, and those guys, I think the desire was there for those guys, and I don't know. I can assume that those guys feel that they had something to prove, and they went out and they did it against a formidable defense, and we had a big win, and it was we didn't squeak by. We played well and we beat them soundly.
Yeah, and the question is this, though. I mean, we saw this against Jacksonville, who's not nearly as good as what Tennessee is. But is this an aberration, or is this something that you think will continue, Joe?
I'm hoping that the coaches would see the effort that this patchwork line that they put together, because it's effort. You see a lot of the previous games. You've seen lack of effort. You've seen blown assignments. And these guys came out and played. I believe if it were against a team that was playing as bad as we had been playing, I would say it was an aberration. But um, playing against Tennessee, they're solid. They're solid all the way around. And when you look at them, they don't have a glaring weakness that you can say, okay, here we can attack this. And for whatever reason, we came out and those guys played. I think offensively, I think we can look forward to the rest of our season that our offense is capable and able to put these kind of points on the board. I don't think our defense, I think our defense is going to put us in bad situations and continuously put Joe Burrows in a situation where he has to come and play catch up.
Well, I think this, though. I think with Joe Burrow, it makes the Bengals defense better because he put pressure on Tennessee. Tennessee comes out, their first drive, they go right down the field. They throw a pick six. From there, once the Bengals get up a touchdown or two, Derrick Henry averaged a little, or in what was it? Deontay Foreman averaged like 7 yards per carry.
Yeah.
But once the Bengals got that lead tie, it kind of took Tennessee out of what they wanted to do. And Ryan Tannehill's a really good quarterback. He's got good receivers. But when you make a team that wants to play a certain way, play completely different than what they want to play, you basically control the game then.
I agree. That lead took some air out of the sails, especially when they marched down and kicked that field goal and didn't get it. But it was really windy that day. I was down at the stadium and the wind was kicking up, so it was going to be hard to kick that field goal. I don't know. It was maybe a 50-yarder. It was pretty far away. And once he missed that, then it caused some problems. And I really felt like the defense, that they didn't really play exceptionally well, but they did put more pressure on Tannehill than they did Baker Mayfield. So that had a lot to do with it. The run scared me. I thought that was going to be something they really capitalized on, but they didn't do as much damage as I thought they were going to do. But the offense, when you control, they had running the clock, you know what I mean? They ran a lot more than I've ever seen them run. And, I think Joe only had like 200-something yards. So they were running the ball pretty efficiently. And when you control the clock, you control the game.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is the Bengals closed out a game. And this was the first time in weeks that the Bengals didn't blow a winnable game, Joe. And you got to figure the Bengals' plan going into the game, at least according to Zach Taylor, was to keep the Titans to 3.9 yards per rush. That clearly didn't work. But once they got a double-digit lead, I mean, the difference between this and the Colts game, everything was done in the first quarter. This game, the Bengals continued to have success the entire game on offense.
Yeah, they did. They found something that was working against this defense. I always thought that Henry and those guys their average was gonna be over 5 yards, and it was. But due to the fact that when you go down the first drive and you drive on a team like that and you throw an interception in the end zone, that can take the win out of you guys. And then it's just, hey, we went down and we capitalized and we continue to do that. Our guys made plays. You look at Tyler Boyd, probably one of the most amazing. He made a catch. I don't even think he's seen it.
It was an amazing catch.
Yeah. So you look at those things, and then, you get games like that, Mike. You get games where things just happen and things are clicking, and I think that's what happened last Sunday. I don't think that we're still good enough to go out and be able to get out and be out in front of other teams. I think we're going to have to continue to play solid. I think we're going to have to play balls out of offense in order to try and keep the clock, keep the ball out of Ben's hands. Our offense, I've always said, and even despite how bad I think, overall our team was, our offensive line and our defense, and a lot of it was the defensive play calling. And we guys are making plays. When you can make plays, when you can get off the field on third downs, when you can convert third downs, When you have big special teams play, all three parts are hitting on all cylinders. You're still an NFL team, and it's still hard to beat an NFL team if they can put that together at the same time.
All right, we look at the receivers, and the receivers were special in this game. You had between Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Auden Tate, 19 receptions, 210 yards, and a touchdown. And I think even though A.J. Green only had 2 catches for 19 yards, he made a huge contribution in this game. I mean, he made him respect him. They put Malcolm Butler on him the whole game long. That's the best cornerback.
Yeah.
It keeps them from having to put it on the younger guys. And Butler pretty much erased Green. But Green also erased Butler, if that makes any sense, Joe.
Yeah, I always said that. You AJ still without AJ on the field, I think our guys wouldn't play as well. AJ, obviously, he tracks the number one corner or the number one cover guy all the time. And like you said, even though he didn't have high production as far as catches and yards, his presence opened up some lanes. His presence opened up some one-on-one opportunities for the other guys, and the other guys came through. The other guys made some catches. Auden Tate made an incredible third down conversion. So you look at those guys. When you get a group of guys that start playing together and start making plays, it's contagious. I can recall back in '88 when our defensive backs, they started making plays, and they came out with the SWAT team moniker, and it just happened. Everything was happening. All the DBs, backup DBs, Barney Bussey, everybody was contributing, and when you go out there and you're having fun, guys are making incredible catches. Man, you can't wait to get on that field to be a contributor in that game and go out there and make some plays. So I think it's contagious offensively with our wide receivers, and Giovanni played well, and it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if any of our guys are coming back on the offensive line, but it'll be interesting to see what Zach does with that offensive line that played so well last week.
Yeah, and I think this, Ty, to me, we're at a turning point for Zach Taylor. He got his first signature win against a good football team. Now, what's he do for the encore? They're going to Pittsburgh. Does he stick with the guys that just got him that win, or does he go back to the guys like Bobby Hart? And if he does, and they get hammered, there's bad days ahead, I think.
I'm hoping in these next 2 weeks they figure it out. They also, remember, they got B.J. Finney, who they acquired out of Seattle. So, Taylor in his post-game speech bragged about Price, gave him the game ball even. So I don't know. Well, will BJ threaten him for a position there, or did the guys play well enough? I guess they'll look at the film and decide that. When he's given his conferences before, Coach Taylor said, hey, like Dunlap, you're either producing or you're not. So maybe they don't go back to some of these other players and see what they can do. Maybe you stick with what worked. I guess Steelers are definitely going to be a big test. Now, what I do like is that they gave him enough time for protection, and that Burrow, he's unpredictable because he spreads the ball around. He gave everybody a shot. And, he didn't even use Drew Sample. He used Thiessen Carter, got a catch, but Drew Sample didn't even get it, or he had one thrown to him, but it was kind of behind him. He reached back. So it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers play that, because I know they're going to be blitzing a lot more. So those guys up front are going to have to step up their game to beat a team like the Steelers.
All right, a guy that really stands out to me, Joe, is Logan Wilson. And when you look at Logan Wilson, I think that when people look back at this draft, everybody's going to talk about Joe Burrow, but I think over the next couple of years, people are going to start to talk about, man, they got Logan Wilson also, who's now a Pro Bowl linebacker, to go with a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, when you look at the impact that this kid is making, And that's one thing I don't have to eat crow about. 55 has always been on my radar. I looked at him and I'm looking at his plays. I'm looking at his ability to take on blocks, his ability to get off blocks, but his ability to get to the ball. And he does that. And, he's still a linebacker because it's still linebacking. So, he's coming to the ball with some reckless abandon. He's coming there with some bad intentions. So I always like that about him. And I've always said he does not have a clue what he doesn't know right now. He's still a rookie. He has no idea how the speed of the game is going to slow down for him. And everything is going to get bigger and bigger. Rather smaller and smaller. He's out there right now and he's playing off just sheer ability. And really hadn't mastered the defense. So you can imagine this kind of this kid that once he gets acclimated to the NFL game, and once he really understands the defense, and he's not when they make a call, you have to think, okay, do I have this? And you're going, what should I do this? And once you get to the understanding and the concept of the defense and what they're doing. And now you can call a play, and now you're making calls, now you're making adjustments, and it's nothing. It's no thinking. You know what gap you got if they come to you. You know what gap you got if they're going away. The game is going to be so much easier for this kid. So hopefully, if he stays healthy, and they keep him in the right position. They keep him playing. He stays healthy. I think this kid is going to be an impact player.
Now, Joe, I like Logan Wilson. I've got his football jersey. I was excited when they drafted him. He has 2 interceptions. Should have had 3, dropped 1.
That's why he plays linebacker, not tight end.
He did have a sack in this game. I think you're right. He has a lot to learn. He's getting to the ball. But he tried to arm tackle Henry going into the end zone, and you can't. That's not going to happen. So I'm sure he'll work on his mistakes. But I like this kid. I think he's a gamer, and we'll see because Pittsburgh's going to put him to the test.
Yeah, but this is the thing. When you look ahead to the second half of the season, there's a lot of winnable games here. In this Pittsburgh game, I'm going to pick the Bengals next week when we preview the game. I can tell you that right now. I think they're going to win the game, and I have one simple reason why. The Steelers aren't going to go 16-0.
Mike, it's Steeler week. When the following week when you're going, you're playing. It's Steeler week. So I mean that's what it is. So here they're undefeated. Our record is not what it should be. We realistically had three wins tucked away. So our as bad as we and as hard as we've been on the Bengals, really 3 games really they should have won. And it wasn't. We're not saying okay if this happened and all these things happen, they should have won. You stop Philly, you stop. You make
Chargers.
Yeah. So you look at that. I think if it's done anything, it's the psyche. So the psyche of Pittsburgh, knowing that here they were up on Tennessee. Tennessee came back. Tennessee had an opportunity to beat them, and then they look at the Bengals and see what the Bengals did and how dominant the Bengals were, and Tennessee wasn't able to come back. So just that, the fact that happened, you're still a pro. And I don't care how well. I don't care if you're undefeated. You're going to go there. You're going to say, well, hey man, those guys ain't that bad. So let's look at some film. And they may look at some previous games and said, okay, well, they're not as good as that. But now they can say, well, hey, they've gotten better, and players have gotten better. Logan has gotten better. So that's going to be on their mind. The Bengals, they whooped Tennessee pretty good. It surprised the hell out of me. So when you look at that and the fact that Pittsburgh struggled with those guys in the second half, Tennessee dominated Pittsburgh the second half. And we did a pretty good number on Tennessee. So I think we'll have a psychological edge. And if we can go in there and we can make plays, you can keep that psyche going like, okay, well, these guys are not bad. And the only thing Pittsburgh goes and Pittsburgh takes our first punch and they handle it and they go down there and score and then it happens again, then that the edge, the mental edge that you had will be thrown out the window. So you got to go in there and punch them in the mouth, and second round punch them in the mouth again, and hopefully make some plays.
Joe, if you look at the schedule we got up on the screen, after the Steelers game, the Bengals played the Redskins, the Giants, the Dolphins, the Cowboys. All 4 of those are winnable games.
Yeah, you look at it. I think Miami's going to be better, and what they did last week, and they had Tua. So
yeah, but how about this, Joe? When you talk about they had Tua, it's not like Tua won them the game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, Tua's not Joe Burrow. And I think the one thing the Bengals have here, and call me crazy, but I think Joe Burrow is like the 5th best quarterback in the NFL right now.
I'm all for this kid. I'm looking at this kid making plays, and he's making plays. Even though our line played a lot better, and we're really giving kudos to our offensive line, but that's because these guys sucked so bad. So this week these guys played together, and you can see how effective Joe was. But Joe's been that effective just about every single game. And guess what? The game is slowing down to Joe. Joe, came out in first Cleveland game, made a bad pass, screen, should have threw it to the ground, that interception. So he's halfway through his rookie season. So really this will be him starting. If we had training camp, if they had OTAs and they had training camp and then they had preseason, this is where he is. He would just literally be starting the season right now. And he was able to get some live action these first 8 weeks. And the kid has gotten better. His decision making, his precision, looking over the field, going through reading coverages. Of course, he's still a rookie, and I think Pittsburgh is going to come after him because that's what you do to rookie quarterbacks. We're not playing the Tennessee Titans. We're playing Pittsburgh Steelers, and these guys their defense is going to come. So they're going to throw everything with the kitchen sink at this kid. And, I think this kid, I think he's going to stand the test of time, and they just better hope that he doesn't get on a roll because it could slow that blitzing scheme down and put those guys on their heels.
Yeah, what we've seen is with the emergence of A.J. Green over the last couple of weeks, it gives you another weapon. You got 4 weapons there. That's hard for anybody to cover. Baltimore basically threw all these exotic blitzes, these show coverages at Joe Burrow. Burrow did have trouble with it, but he has seen stuff like that now before, Ty. So I think when the Bengals get to this game, I really think it's a winnable game. And I know I'm usually the one that's negative, but I really think Joe Burrow's that good.
Yeah, I think he has what it takes. I think, like Joe said, these games have been like preseasons, preseason games. He's seeing a lot of different looks now. He knows a lot of different looks, especially that Ravens game with all the blitzes that came at him in that game and how he's going to get the ball out quicker. I've even seen him as he's running out, if he doesn't have a pass, he throws it away. Where before he was trying to make a play, whether he's forcing a pass or he was trying to run with it. I mean, this kid is something special. And you even see that when they almost sacked him and he got a 7 yards out of it, because he's a gamer. He wants to win, and he's just real cool, calm, and collect in the huddle, which brings everyone else down. Like you said, Mike, you got a lot of receivers and you have a lot of weapons. It's going to be hard. And who's to say what happens with Ross now? We've decided we're going to keep him. We're not going to trade him. Are we going to use him in reverses? Are we going?
I don't think they're going to activate him most of the time, Joe. I think that the Bengals blew an opportunity here. The last 2 or 3 weeks, he should have played, throwing the ball a couple times. Maybe somebody will want to give you something for him, but now they're kind of stuck in no man's land with him.
Yeah, you know what? And that shows you what this coaching staff is all about here. I don't think Dunlap was your problem. He became a problem based on how you were the schemes that you were doing, and now you have John Ross. I mean, you could have got a 7th round pick. You could have got something. but just a sheer waste for you not to trade him, and you're going to deactivate this kid the rest of the season. You know,
Do
it
you
is
think
what
that's
it
a
is.
Mike Brown call, or do you think it's a Zach Taylor call, though?
Well, you know what? It has an inkling of Mike Brown. Same thing with Geno Atkins. These guys, you know, Ross obviously in last year of his contract. Geno, I think Geno has 2 years left on the contract, and you know, signed big money, and he decided to give DJ Reader a huge contract. So knowing Mike Brown, I gave this guy a huge contract. I got to get rid of the other big contracts. And that's this, even though you've seen him spend the money and we're excited about the free agency, these are the ramifications. So when they're looking at that, you make Carlos a problem, you dump that contract, and now you're playing arguably one of the best interior defensive linemen in the game. You're playing them, you know, over the center, rather than in the 3 technique. You're playing him, you know, 12. You know, he's playing situational ball. So that in itself, I know the kid is not motivated. I don't care who you are. You're a competitor, and then you're a competitor of his stature, and you're coming in and you see bums in front of you. You know, and no disrespect, those guys are bums compared to Geno Atkins. I don't care what. There's not a defensive tackle that we have on our team that's better than that guy. And you're not getting that effort. And same thing. I'm not going to say, hey, you know, John, you know, it's sometimes he showed lack of effort. You know, dropped too many balls. Uncharacteristic of anything I've seen, and I've been watching the kids.
Yeah, but how about this? Doesn't this have a lot to do with the guy who wanted to draft him was not the head coach; it was the owner.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that.
So it started off on a bad foot.
Well, those are the things that happen. You know, you look at that, and you would think if Mike Brown was really wanted to say, okay, here we draft the guys and we nurture our guys. You look at Billy Price. You know, he looks like a huge bust mistake. The kid played well last week. Is he going to turn into an all-pro center? I don't know, but he played well. And this league, you only can get better if you play. Now, you're not getting better on the sideline. So I think it didn't make any sense if you're not going to play this guy, you know, John Ross, you know, why you should have traded him. And now you're going to have a kid who's totally disgruntled on your team. It can't be good for your team. And it's hard because we're all human. It's hard. I can, you know, those his receivers, those guys go out and they hang out together. But at the end of the day, you think that kid doesn't want to play? You know, do you think he doesn't want to play? You know, so you're not going to get the, you know, it's a lose. It's a lose for both sides. So you know, it's part of that, but it's part of coaches being able to. You can use a Belichick and see how he can take a kid with minimal talent and make him a Pro Bowl wide receiver. And he's able to mesh these guys, and these guys fit into his system. And, you know, that's not what you have. You don't have an experienced NFL coaches, and as a result, you have these are the type of small things that can keep you from being successful. These things can put you in situations to lose games because whether or not it's in a game and your guy is disgruntled because he's not getting the ball, you know, or he's not active. You know, if now the other guys that are playing, and you know they're mad that you're over here bitching because you're not playing. You know, and then you can have the tension there. So when you have a situation like that, it's not good for any team.
All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We'll come back next week to preview the Steelers game. Any parting words, Ty?
No, I just hope that they have these 2 weeks to get it together.
Are we getting a playoff prediction now since they won, Ty?
Not yet. I got to see what happens. I believe they're going to go on a streak here after the Steelers, but we'll see how they do with the Steelers. But It'd be nice. It'd be unpredictable because no one else thought they, had a chance. But
Well, it is 2020, Ty. Anything can happen in 2020.
this is true. And a lot of things have happened. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're going to happen forever, I think. Now, Joe, you want to go ahead and give us final
Well,
thought?
you know what? I think the bye week was perfect timing. I think these guys just their mindset can go in. Now they know that they can play with a formidable team. Tennessee was undefeated 2 weeks ago. So this can bode well for their confidence. I'm sure losing those games, even though they lost them and close. Besides the Baltimore game, this can bode well. You can, like you said, those are winnable games. You can go in here. Just imagine if you go in there and you go into Pittsburgh and you beat Pittsburgh. And now you're looking at, oh man, we can go on a 4 or 5 game streak, and before you know it, you won 5-6 games in a row. And like I said, NFL, this thing is about confidence. Everybody's physically capable of being dominant or beating the next guy. And when you can come in and you can say, well, hey man, we played against one of the best teams in the league and we beat them. Do I think that here we're on our way to the Super Bowl this year? Absolutely not. But
You never know, Joe. Come on, quit being so negative.
With Super Bowl, absolutely not. I would not back off on that. But I can say that victory last week, I just like you. I can see them going in. This is the perfect time to go in and play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh after winning, beating Tennessee. Now you got the confidence, and then you see how Tennessee could have beat them, and had opportunities to beat them. But Tennessee didn't have an opportunity to beat you. So you figure you can go in there and make some plays. Here you need a play here and there. You're gonna need some big plays. You're gonna need some stops on third down. You're gonna need some conversions. You're gonna need some great catches. You don't have to get the Tyler Boyd amazing catch, but you're gonna have to get Alden Tate coming in and making a huge catch on third down conversion. You're gonna need those plays, and then I think once you get those plays, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and it's unfortunate that we gave away 3 games early because literally we go on the street. You would be talking about here, Joe Burrow's having one of the greatest rookie quarterback seasons, all the way comparable to the kid in Miami named Dan Marino in '85 when he came in and he took his team to the Super Bowl as a rookie.
No, he didn't, Joe.
What's that?
1983 was his rookie season. He took them to the playoffs. They were 12-4, and they got upset by the Seattle Seahawks 27-20. Okay. And then in 1984, he took them to the Super Bowl, and the 49ers beat them 38-16.
Okay, that's what
See, I remember that stuff, Joe, because I was in high school and I refused to do homework, so I just watched sports.
Yeah. So it's the kid can have he can arguably still put together. Probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rookie seasons that the NFL has ever had. So, he's capable of that, and he's halfway there.
Yeah, and Mr. Andy Steve, before we wrap it up, said after watching Joe play last week, I think any game is winnable. I think we all feel like that now.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, we need that Joe Burrows on defense. And we're still, looking for it. Was hoping, the safety was that guy, and maybe DJ Reader's that guy. But we need a Joe Burrows on defense before we can say, hey, we can go out and we think we can win.
Yeah, but how about this, Joe? I would say with Joe Burrow, any game is winnable. But until you get that defense, there's no game I expect to win.
Exactly. Yeah. Well put. Well put. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up. You can follow the Grilly Truth at Grilly Truth. You can hear us live, same time, same place next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Yep. Deal. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to get another Bengal on and talk about a little Bengal-Steeler rivalry.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
So maybe get Barney Bussey, 1990. He torched him for like 2 or 3 picks. Bengals beat him, ended up winning the division.
Yeah, I can get Barney. I can get Barney on. He's we stay about a mile away from each other. So, yeah, I can get Bussy.
But that ain't too far. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up, though. Remember to check out manscaped.com, promo code TGT20 for 20% off and free shipping on your first order. So for now, for Ty Robbins, Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening and watching To the Grueling Truth, where the legends